Thank you so much, and don't ever forget, everything NRA does, it's just everybody one by one throughout this whole country that believes in this freedom making it work. That's the key to this whole association. So all of you that are members and supporters, thank you. You know, as you know, 2 days ago, Attorney General Eric Holder announced a massive new gun ban based on a new foreign threat. And it hit me almost like it was deja vu. So I asked my folks to go track this down. Listen to this. As billionaires buy the laws and lawmakers they want, as bureaucrats conduct personal crusades, as zealots indoctrinate our kids, as criminal gangs infest our neighborhoods, as the UN applies global gun ban pressure, and as anti-gun forces control the House and Senate, if an anti-gun president occupies the White House, then the perfect storm is upon us. Its arrival would be hastened by a terrorist threat, an event that experts say is inevitable. Then the final disarmament of law-abiding Americans will take place beneath the shroud of anti-terrorism legislation. And most media will play an eager accomplice to mislead Americans down that one-way path to surrender. Hear, hear. Yeah, those were my words 5 years ago. Of all those pieces, a lot have now fallen into place, especially the mainstream media as an eager accomplice to mislead the American people. You know, you may not believe it, but for about 200 years, the press viewed its purpose almost like a religion. The First Amendment was their holy book, and the truth was their highest ethic. And the press used to believe that if you followed the commandments and told the truth about who, what, when, where, and why, you'd go to that big press box up in the sky. And so for a couple hundred years, the truth protected us. Truth liberated us. But today, the protection that we seek from the truth, it won't be there unless we fight for it. A good example is how a lie became a law in 1994. The Clinton semi-automatic so-called assault rifle ban. Remember that? Now, the guns they banned, they were hardly ever used in crime. In fact, the guns they banned were no different from millions of other semi-automatic rifles that have been around for 100 years. They all perform the same. So how'd they ban them? They could only do it with a complicit media willing to ignore facts and perpetuate lies. Here's how they did it. While they talked about the guns to ban, they showed fully automatic machine guns blowing up cinder blocks. You couldn't pick up a newspaper. You couldn't turn on your TV without seeing a fully automatic machine gun shooting right at the viewer. They called them, and you remember all these terms that you in the media, weapons of war, military-style assault weapons, guns like our soldiers use on the battlefield. It was all a lie. It was all about guns that had nothing to do with the proposed ban. But you know what? The media and those politicians, they pulled it off. Now fast forward 10 years. The ban's about to expire. And here's CNN again out there repeating the lie. They're showing heavily restricted, fully automatic machine guns and saying, oh my God, this ban's about to expire. Machine guns are going to flood the streets of our country. You know, I happened to be sitting in the studio at CNN, and they ran that clip, and I had just had enough. And they couldn't stop me from saying what I did. Here's what happened.
We'll give you the other side from the Executive Vice President of the National Rifle Association, Wayne LaPierre. Wayne, thanks for being with us.
Hi, Kara. Good to be with you.
Well, if the ban on assault weapons expires, what kind of weapons would be legal?
Kara, let me say this at the start. I'm glad you ran that story, because apparently the only difference between the New York Times and CNN is that when a reporter for the New York Times fakes a story, he's fired, and at CNN he's not. Your bureau chief, John Torella, deliberately faked the story yesterday, intending to show that the performance characteristics of banned firearms on the list are somehow different from the performance characteristics of firearms not on the banned list. He was implying that these were machine guns or fully automatic guns. That's not true.
Mr. LaPierre, I have to stop you there. No one fakes stories at CNN, and John Zarrella definitely did not fake a story at CNN. You're very off base. I'm going to let you say your opinion, and let's have a conversation, but don't accuse our reporter of faking any story, sir.
Let me say it again in front of the whole country. Your reporter faked that story yesterday. It deliberately misread the viewer. There's no way it could be true, and I challenge CNN to defend it.
You know, NRA forced CNN to air a correction of that story, and the following Monday they did. But the sad thing is, it's almost like you got to be there right in the studio with a bank robber running out and the dye exploding all over him before you get a chance to get the correction. So that deception was exposed. Americans got to hear the truth, and Congress found out about it, and that Congress let that lie expire in 2004. The Clinton gun ban accomplished exactly what we predicted. Nothing. But ever since, the same old elites have looked for political cover to try to bring back the same old ban, even expanded more. And as of this morning, they think they found it in Mexico's terrible turmoil. This time, the lie is that Mexico is losing its brave battle against violent criminals because of our freedom here in the United States. The lie is that if we would just surrender more of our Second Amendment, Mexican drug cartels couldn't get the guns they get to terrorize their people and ours. I mean, give me a break. I mean, this is straight out of Bill Clinton's playbook. The anti-gun elites like Eric Holder, and you heard him say it the other day, promoting a gun ban on the fresh graves of tragedy. I mean, what arrogance to think Americans will buy that lie again. That old lie that criminals of any nationality obey gun bans. I mean, they're criminals.